Welcome back. Now we have to do several videos tonight to try to post these throughout the week. It's really hard to actually do videos with work. I think you guys all can understand me on that, how this goes with the real life we have to all actually partake in. And so we're going to have to do different videos to kind of upload as time goes on. The last video, I don't know if I want to post it because it was really in depth. I get kind of strung out there on, you know, different stuff, but this is Into the West.
So that we could eat.
This talks about, you guys gotta check this out. It's on YouTube. I would seriously recommend this being on your radar if you're gonna go further into any traditional stuff. This is a great show. It's just awesome. I love it, love it, love it. But fair use. Listen to Buffalo Nation.
The white man called them buffalo. We call them Tatanka, the majestic ones. Their story is the story of our people. Tatanka lived in the underworld until he saw our people in a vision. He saw that we were needy, and for the love of us, Tatanka came up out of the earth and became flesh, so that we could eat, make our clothes, and our dwellings from his hide. De Kaoyate, he called us the Buffalo Nation.
Okay, so let's stop there. Now, the camera's awfully bright. I did get a new phone, so that's what my camera is. So we're going to talk about the vision of growling bear in the show. So, and the reason why the Lakota people became the Buffalo Nation was because of the fact that the buffalo came out of the earth because the people were needy. But this is after white buffalo calf woman had already come to the people. They were wicked, and they were given the sacred pipe and the sun dance and other. I guess that was the two major traditions that were given to cleanse the people of their wickedness. That's how things work in the world. You can't be wicked as a society and expect to survive. It just doesn't happen like that. It's only so long that kind of society will go before they get wiped out. So they had learned at one time that the Great Spirit, the Creator, had sent White Buffalo Calf Woman. And you could look at the legend yourself. You guys can watch it yourself. But this is to do with the buffalo coming out of the earth for the people because they were needy and turned to flesh and blood for gave them their hides to make their clothing and their teepees out of. But this was a sacrifice by the Creator and by the buffalo themselves. But just like a bug that came out of the earth, they lived in the earth and they came out of the earth to, like a yawn of a dog's mouth, like a growling bear's vision. The buffalo came out of the earth and then they went back in. Basically, they're saying they went back in when they became wicked, or when the westward settlement had came to the people and the buffalo disappeared, then they would live in square houses. You know, that was that was what the vision was, a growling bear, that the buffalo would disappear and then they'd be living in square houses, which came true. And in this show, they talk about the fact that there was another guy named Drinks Water. He was also had the same vision, that the Lakota people would be living in square houses and the buffalo would disappear, which came true. You're talking about a ice age creature that was a giant bison that all disappeared. And the bison we knew all disappeared except for a very small number of 100 or so Buffalo Jones saved. So to really get into cannibal giants and to understand the Americas, we have to understand the oral legends of the people that were here. Now remember, this is 1884 or 1824. I think it's 1820. So the Spanish had done just massive atrocities across the Americas. Just is sickening. Spain had done here. Just unbelievable. Just massacres, enslavement, just wiping out traditions, wiping out peoples, enslaving peoples, conquering. But they did meet another very tall bunch of people. I even read that. I listened to it the other night on a show program called History of San Antonio. You can check it out on Spotify. It's a very great program. They talk about the fact of the conquistadors that were, fighting for their lords in Europe, and they came here to gain wealth for themselves and people to wipe people out, make them work for the kings, and then enrich themselves at the same time. These are corrupt, crooked, rotten people. Rotten. And people say, oh, no, they're rotten. They're disgusting. They're disgusting people. They enslave people for their own greed. They wiped out entire cities and civilizations for slavery on a scale unheard of in later years in the Americas, of Spain. So, what I'm getting at is they encountered these beings. So these people, the Lakota have a story, legend of the giant. The tribes have legends of giants. These oral histories are much more reliable than what the kleptocrats in Europe and the kleptocrats that have monetarily sucked everybody dry here and put Dawes roll numbers on all the survivors and stole the rest of their land for their own good, their own greed, because they are the banksters. That's the narrative. You can't buck the narrative. You can't buck it. They rule the narrative. So they are the key to the discovery of the truth. It's in their legends that this exists, and it's in their people's beliefs that this will be revealed. Everything you've been told is a lie. Just lies. Flying saucers, true. They finally released some documents. You guys get to see it. It's like, oh, look, the gun camera's just chasing it. No, look, that's a small. I personally witnessed flying saucer during the day. I witnessed F-16s or where they kicked out of Hill Air Force Base in northern Utah, chasing a light that wasn't a light, but it was actually glowing, and it was a flying saucer, a round bottom, round top, disc in the middle, zipping across the sky as these idiots came flying over their blinking lights, broke the sound barrier at like 1 o'clock in the morning in Utah County, 1988. What was that, a drone? Yeah, right. I watched it leave a star trail clear across East Mountain as their blinking light fighters, their V, went berserk trying to grasp what they just saw. Where's those documents? Government. That's not for us. You're not a part of the government, guys. Sorry about that. The washer and dryer noise, but they don't care about what your feelings are. They don't care about the facts are. They don't care about the truths, if you know them or not. That's just a fact. Their narrative was set up by their banksters, and that is what the government's answer to, not to you. We know this. It's not a secret. It's been going on forever. It's ever since they confiscated the West and all the lands that were held by Native peoples through treaties. They dissolved the treaties, stole the land, sold it off as unceded land through the Dawes Act, which was just basically the largest land theft in U.S. history, next to just outright taking it. They gave everybody a Dawes roll number, so you get a piece and you get a patch, but it's not enough for your own generation, let alone anything else in the future. And then they sold off the rest of the land, and they knew the banksters would make their money off it. But they tried to dissolve, along with Spain, everything that was against Catholicism, everything that was against their bankers and their lords and their kings. That's what they were after. It was complete colonization and slavery and wiping out all the history. Just imagine if Spain would have been in it for just good reasons, which wouldn't have ever drove any exploration, because it's all about monetary theft. It's gain, steal what I could take. It was never about the people. But what if these tribes were allowed to actually to keep their religions and to keep their beliefs, and we'd hear about all this what's been eliminated, what's been just completely wiped out. It would be too shocking for what we know now to be just not facts. They would have to rewrite the history, and the banksters would lose because people would fall back into religion. They'd be like, these prophecies are true. These prophecies have always been true. But it didn't fit their monetary gain. The tithing wasn't enough. You can look at what Spain was doing. Go Spotify, check out History of San Antonio. They've grown tired of the missions. They've grown tired of what they were doing. They were just wanting to take. That's all they were there for. That's all the conquistadors were there for. The friars were actually trying to convert people to Catholicism and wipe out all traditional beliefs. And they did. Very few held on to it. The Apaches were cut down to 1,000 males, and by the Spanish through slavery and through slaughter, and all there was 1,000 males left in the entire American continent, and those 1,000 per the Spanish were enslaved. So, where's the oral histories? That was just the Spanish. That's not including all the other peoples they wiped out. Just to say. So yeah, I say giants exist. Yeah, they exist. They existed. The Earth has beings inside of it. Yeah, the Earth has beings inside of it. The buffalo came out for the Buffalo Nation. I mean, there is things living inside the Earth. There's creatures living in the darkest depths of the world. You can't fix that. You can't stop that. You can't change that. The question is, are the giants inside the earth still, or are they coming from the stars? They come from the heavens, because the heavens are full of wars, per the Bible. Very violent places. So, what you gotta kind of decide: are you going to believe the narrative that the banksters and the conquerors that don't care about you, that run the governments, that run the banks, run the monetary system, that would eat you alive in other ways, not your flesh, but they just basically destroy you, which we just watch generation after generation fold up. I've just sat here on earth trying to be free, trying to live the old ways and want to go back to the old ways, when I just watched every generation just disappear. Just disappear off the face of the earth. They're just gone. Just gone. Chase a brass ring around, tell you, pay enough to them through taxes, you get what retirement they decide to give you. They've loaned against you in debt per your Social Security number, and then you just die. And you're known for the tracks you left behind. Well, if you free your mind and say, what I've been told is a lie, and you understand that, you see what's happened around the world with theology and theories, but eliminate these people that tell you this is the facts, because they all had something to do. They monetarily gained from what they said is factual. And once you, in our group, our idea of our belief and our exploration, we want to know what is really there. What's the real truth? What have they been lying about for the past 500 years, since the 12th century, since the 5th century AD? The 5th century BC. What is the lies that we've been told? Well, you could never write them down by these supposed governments and kings and queens and lords of the land that have told us what exists and what doesn't. They used to lock people up for even mentioning the fact they believe in flying saucers or UFOs or spirits. That was an offense that was actually could put you in an insane asylum when I was a kid. Literally. Do you think I'm joking? It's true. It's true. You'd be locked up. But now we're allowed to say this or this or this, or talk about it. But only to that point. Only that point. They're not going to release the documents. They're not going to release the true UFO sightings of the times they've been scrambled after flying saucers. They're not going to release any of that stuff for you guys. You're never going to know the truth, because it's a separate society and you're not invited. It's a regalia we call governments. That's where they go to the shops, they go to their balls, they go to their giant meetings at these little places, and you're not invited. They're not going to allow you to know the truth, because the truth scares them to death, because it bucks the narrative that they fed you. And there's all that monetary money out there. I'm a scientist, I'm this, I'm an archaeologist, I'm this, and we explored this. I could take those same people out hunting and they'd be lost like an idiot. They'd be like, how do you know all this stuff? Because I'm not schooled in a school that tells me what is factual and what isn't. See, right there, it's already PTSD, because they told you. You had to believe that. You had to write that down. You had to study their thesis, their opinion of what happened. Because history is just opinion. Especially archaeology. Well, this right here this is the way this. Well, evidence points to. Okay, sure. You're really gonna find something and it's gonna change everything, and you're just gonna really just give it to the public. Hey, guess what? There's water on Mars. Life exists in the heavens. It will be the next one they'll say. But they come in peace. They're not going to come in peace. Their missions here on the earth isn't about peace. The heavens are not full of beings that really probably care about you. I mean, there's a creator, a God, and there's angels, and there's other worlds, as clearly stated in the Bible. There's millions of worlds up there, and depending how advanced we think we are, I would probably say we're the least advanced of the entire system up there. But you can't tell these people that because they're stuck in the cocoon. They're in the monetary gain for them, the bankers, the investments, the massive firms, the corporations. It's in their interests that you just do what you're supposed to do for 30, 40 years, 50 years, and then just collect what little Social Security you get, what retirement you put in. They've already made profit off of, and you just die. Then the next generation goes, so what's the truth? What's the truth about all this? What's the truth? You're not in the club. And even if you are, half these people are complete morons. They've always been like that. I'm a scientist. I'm not. That takes a mighty accomplished man to say that. Really? 1492, the earth was still flat. Question the narrative, guys. Did giants exist? Yes. These are the legends of giants in their peoples, in their oral history, their oral tribal knowledge. They gained no monetary gain from that. Yes, we fought a great race of giants. Yes, there were red-haired cannibals. Yes, we killed them all. There was a time when giants roamed the earth. They say that. But not to give you, well, what are we going to do about it? You're not going to do nothing about it, really. We're going to debate it for whatever time we're given here on the earth, then we're just going to pass away. That's a history. That's a future. And the next generation is going to pick up the gauntlet, and if they decide to actually tell you what is and what isn't, then you will know that. They will know that much more. Then they'll work and just go ahead and follow the narrative that's put forth by mainstream media and by these historians and their archaeology, what they found and what they haven't found, and the Smithsonian Institute that's really completely 100% transparent. And they're just going to believe it because they set that narrative towards allowing you to question, to think that there's a possibility, the little bit of evidence they allow you to have, but you still follow along the narrative. You think, oh, well, this is what they told me. I went to college, and I was schooled in the beginning. You were schooled by somebody that wrote a paper, a report, or a study that had funding and backing. That the last thing they'd ever do is tell you the truth if they found anything that was to prove the existence of another being here. Just factual. Someone could tell me, hey, that's not right. That's not the way things are. Really. So, there's no corruption and greed to protect their narrative, right? I'd have to say, that water on Mars just didn't exist until you guys actually discovered a cavern in Mars that said there's water at the bottom of possibly ice, and we finally released it to the public. You have to understand what's happening here. The truth about what's gone on here is only skepticism. It's only the skeptics that actually sit back and say, wait a minute, this doesn't sound right. Because you just eliminated the oral histories because these people wouldn't write anything down because they were too smart. They didn't want to have what we had in Europe, which was ultimate control by the kings over the serfs, which was eventually brought to the Americas that allowed the conquest and conquering and the theft of entire stories of what really happened. They feared it. They feared it. They feared that. They're labeled as savages. But these people conquered the giants. Where would they be if the idiots from Europe, the Spanish conquistadors, landed here and said, oh crap, we have a giant race of giant people that we can't defeat in battle because we have advanced armor, and so do they. But luckily, the indigenous Native Americans had defeated them. Their resources had been drained far enough, low enough with the inland sea drying up, that they didn't have to go through that. Or the Americas may never have been conquered, and it may have been a reverse attack on Europe. But there was cataclysmic events, and then you have this massive race of warriors on the Native American side, the human sides, that defeated these giants. Now, you could say the giants are just basically a genetic line of people that grew exceptionally large because of genetics, breeding, environmental foods, the richness of the Americas, like was stated when they first came here. They were able to grow large in size. There's entire populations of little people here. Whatever. There was a population of large people. We could say it's just a genetic flaw, but their legend doesn't really talk about that. It talks about these people that show these creatures that showed up here that were so dang tall they couldn't even. They were just like, whoa, these people are huge. These people are huge. But you can't follow the Bible, which actually talks about that, right? There'll be giants in the earth in the time of Noah. There'll be giants in the earth later. Forgot the end part, right? So that's to answer the question. Where do we go from here? Where do we go to prove the narrative wrong and to rewrite history? And what will they do when the history is rewritten? Or where everything they knew before was a complete theory of what was here, written by the greediest people the world's pretty much known, the Americas ever known, which was the conquistadors, which was the first explorers. They were all after riches and to change and take away and enslave. They didn't care. They were right. Everybody else was wrong. They didn't care. Where's your gold? Where's your gold? Destroy your village. Burn your village. Enslave your entire population. Send them down into Spain. New Spain. That's what they did. That's what they did. If they didn't kill everybody. But it's really cool. History San Antonio has a great video. You can check it on Spotify. Just came out the other day. Talks about the giants. There's like 3 or 4 videos. Talks about exploration into Florida. The one lord that was given Florida, whatever they called it then, was his, and he had to go conquer it. And when he encountered the little people, and he went after cord, and he kept saying, where's the gold? Where's the gold? Appalachia, Appalachia. And he gets up there, and he runs out of stuff, and he goes crazy. He starts dying off from mysterious illnesses, and they run back, and the whole way they're being attacked by these very large, very beautifully sculpted natives that were very accurate, deadly. That wasn't what he encountered in the first. Because the populations that were there in Florida were under duress, possibly enslaved, possibly cannibalized by the very people that hunted him down all the way back to the coast. That's what happened. They didn't encounter these people prior. He had some natives, had some chiefs that he did run into, one of these conquistadors that he was very impressed with, because he's a greedy tyrant. But he was impressed with the other greedy tyrant, which was a native chief of smaller stature. But then the bigger people came and attacked the entire way back. The guy that did History San Antonio says, no, well, it's just because of their famine and exhaustion. They were talking about this large stature of a being that was just deadly accurate, that harassed them the entire way back to the coast. Then you start to understand, no, this is the giants in their paintings was standing there. They were running the entire armies of humans. It's a better analogy of what happened than what they did. But they admitted to it. Then where did they go? Where did they all end up going? Well, disease. was a huge one. I guarantee they didn't have the immunity to fight back, which the native people didn't either. And maybe they just disappeared. Maybe they went back up like the Navajo said. Maybe they went back into the earth. Maybe they just disappeared that way. Maybe they never did all submit. Maybe they just went into their own place, wherever that is. Maybe it's inside the earth, guys. We don't have that information in front of us. We can speculate what happened, where they went, what happened to them. They don't. They pull out giants' bones and tombs of giants, all over through the late 1800s, early 1900s. But where did they get destroyed? Are we going to encounter giants? Is that what's going to take out society? These giants are going to reappear. I don't know. Do we want to dabble into that? Yeah, it's called Cannibal Giants. That's what we got. So we have to do more exploration into it, which I went out there today. By the way, did get a video to one of the places where I believe the giants are at. It's not lunacy or craziness talking about, because there was actually a Sasquatch sighting out there by my ex-wife back in the day. They didn't do anything to her, just looked at her and was like, whoa, took off 2 steps out. He was gone. That's just the way things are. There has been Sasquatch sightings out there. Well, they're probably not Sasquatch. They're probably giants. Giants. Or huge giant stature people, like she said it was. Just a massive man. Massive creature. The hairy man. Well, evolution, maybe they grew hair. Maybe they are hairy people. Just like the Cheyenne said. You can look up that guy that shot that Cheyenne hunter that shot one right at the backside. There's audio of that recorded years ago. But this place that I'm thinking of has the capability of these entrances to another world, the underworld. There is a possibility there's entrance to the underworld. I found one of these over north of here too, with the drawings and the rock carvings that talk about doors, and I actually felt beside the lava and the lava pit or lava peak there, and you could literally feel cold air coming out. There's something in there. There's something in there. So that's another issue. Are they inside that mountain? Are they living below where the former level was prior to the massive slough off of all the mountains in Utah? Are they in the underworld? Is that the underworld just underneath us? We don't know. But that's kind of what we're going to get into this year. We're going to have to go out and look for it. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be draining. I know it's going to be something that a lot of people don't want to do. Believe me, I don't want to pull out face to face a giant. I don't want to open up a place and have something come out that I can't put back. But with the way the world is today, and everything's in the book of life. You're all written in the book of life. It's all foretold. One person isn't going to go change scripture. It just can't happen. But we could possibly go find out more evidence and show the world that the traditions of the people were wiped out, or there's very little left, and it's completely true. And then that would be a nice poke to the thumb to the eye to those people, to these archaeologists and the scientific world. It took them 1,400 years plus all the BCs to figure out the world is round. That's who you're taking advice from, guys. That's who. Experts. The experts. Whatever. So anyway, thanks for watching Cannibal Giants. I'll post this video probably tomorrow, or try to do it tonight. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. I have to be awfully quiet at night like this down in the newsroom. I call it my little man cave, because I don't want to wake the family. But again, just so you guys understand this, if we grow the channel, we get help financially, that would be great with night vision. We need sound equipment. We need drones. We need people that are really active in this without the look at me type thing. We need a squatching group out there, with their each. We have to be a team. when the team breaks down, the machine breaks down, and it's null and void. Everybody can start anything they want. Well, I have this Bob's channel. Well, okay, that's Bob's channel. That's your brand name, Bob's channel. Okay, well, that's good. That's nice, dear. You need to do something that's going to be worked with other people on the ground, or you can just study what other people have posted over and over again. Talk to somebody else has a theory or thesis or whatever, or you could get out on the ground and investigate the true facts, not as a city dweller in a cubicle sitting there on their computer all day. You could be a part of the people that have been here and that have been there and that have seen the truth. Or go, so you don't have to go to someone's show and say, I got this person on my show and I got this person on my show. So get out there and do it. That's what we can do. That's what we can do. Or I'll just go it alone. Fine, whatever. I've been alone most of the times out in the middle of nowhere. This is me. This is me. It's where I've been. It's where I'll always be. You know, I have a harder time with work, but different job I took. But I'll be out there. And when I hear them yell my name and start their blah, 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 garbage, jumble, gibberish, and I get that on video, which if I would have started my camera, my crappy phone at that time, I would have a giant speaking gibberish at me and then calling my name like somebody's hurt. And then have to tell people the truth. I'll tell you something. It makes you sick. It makes me sick to think about it. I just don't want to be it's affected me over the past couple weeks. And I can't escape that. I can't get away from that. You know, I don't know how to get away. I can turn it off to a point. It's like, okay, well, let's just shut this off because it's make-believe in the back of my head. When it isn't make-believe, you clutch your gun at night because you know something is out there and it is not your friend. It doesn't care. That's the scary part about this. It doesn't care. It wants to rip you apart and leave nothing but a greasy spot. I used to be a warrior. I used to be strong. I used to be agile, fierce. You know, I get this in my eyes. I get mad and I just want to fight. I was a warrior. Not like fist fight in the streets and some ghetto brawl over stupid stuff. You looking at me? Let's punch each other. No, I'm talking. I'm fighting something that's a 2,000 pounds, or a bear that's not a bear, that's hunting me, or a bobcat, or a mountain lion. It's just repeatedly happened to me. Repeatedly. It's a battle, and I'm old now. My teeth are failing, and my health isn't great since COVID twice. It's just wipe me out. But I can still fight. So, this year, this spring, coming up the next 2 months, probably February, March, when the weather clears, you can document and go up there and try to find the giants. Or, we just go film it and get some audio with this in my arms and whatever gun you got in your arms. And we can hope that this is going to defend me and you. A weapon against a being that can run so fast you can't even hardly see it. Against a being so advanced it's been here for thousands and thousands of years. You don't even know if that'll even penetrate that creature. Neither do I. And if they're cannibals, they're there to eat you. Isn't that the irony of finding out something, you're chasing something that's considered a cannibal? Which I did not even consider when I was 14 years old. I had no idea. They may have been staring at their next meal and decided not to eat me. I didn't realize this till later. I thought they were Sasquatch. They're Sasquatch. People go missing all the time. They just disappear. If you're being cannibalized or eaten by a creature, you're less likely to find your remains, especially if they're intelligent. They're going to do something with the rest of you. They're going to grind your bones to powder, make bread out of it, just like the fee, fi, fo, fum. What kind of evidence are they going to have left over your body? They're going to find a pile of poo and say, oh, he's in that pile of poo there. They can't even find a lost body in these mountain ranges. A missing person. There's been a lot of people go missing in the middle of nowhere. They say Sasquatch, Sasquatch. I'm believing they're giants. I'm starting to change my entire opinion on that. I'm starting to see the correlation between them and the giants. It's making more sense every day, actually. And a connection to the aliens, too. The flying saucers I saw that are absolutely 100% real. If you don't believe that, you ain't never seen one. And nobody can tell you different. Until you see it, then you'll be like, oh, that's peculiar. What's going to be your decision tree at that time? After really actually seeing a flying saucer, not just a light in the sky. That's a light in the sky there. Yeah, it does this crazy stuff. No, see it during the day. Then all hell breaks loose. And you go, well, this is my decision tree. I'm going to go this way. And you're going to work. You're going to work. Because from that day forward, after that day forward, your decisions, your thought process, your basic being of existence disappears. You become something else because it doesn't work anymore. It's like discovering a genetic flaw you can't fix. What do you do now? Oh, we're just going to try to cope with it. Well, it's getting dark. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm getting out of there. Why? Because there's things out there that really go bump in the night that are real. What do? Leave? Why are you packing up brick at midnight? Because. Why are you not staying the night? Because. Why are you so scared? Because there's something out there. Oh, no, there's nothing out there, trust me. Really? Really? Nothing out there, right? When he calls your name, go see. Let's see what happens. Because you'll be another missing person that just disappeared. Wandered off. There'll be nothing left of you. Because I don't think that they're your friend. I don't believe aliens are your friend. And they come in peace. No, they don't. That went way out the window way before. With these people. They didn't come in peace. They're not ever going to come in peace. You can't befriend them. You're not going to say, well, let's take Carrie and the Hendersons. That ain't going to happen either because 99% of the time that anybody's actually encountered Sasquatch, it's either running from them, staring at them, and probably contemplating eating them. Or it's gone like that because it doesn't want to be your friend. It doesn't care. So anyway, it's 38 minutes into the show. I'm going to call it quits for tonight. I did do 2 videos. They're kind of the same thing in the beginning. This will probably be the one I post. But again, thanks for watching. I'll do this with a team of people. Just in the first place. Not the second. No, definitely not the third. The Valley of the Other Beings. We have to do that because that's how different organizations make themselves not legally liable. That place will be later in the year, and that place I am definitely afraid of going to. Thesis or theories or whatever, break it down. I'm afraid. And you should be too. Because things don't call your name, try to get you over a ridge because they want to shake your hand. And I gotta go back this year. So, you guys, thanks for watching. Share, like, subscribe. I'm just gonna get done. I'm tired. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching.